Well, good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, 3 days in a row. We've got pickup lines, and that is a great thing. We are underway here. Pickup lines presented by Gomez Law Firm, Integrity Roofing and Siding, and the Sabinal Group, and we're once again inside the all-electric Lexus RZ450E, courtesy of North Park Lexus of San Antonio, North Park Lexus at Dominion. And today, it's all about an organization that is very near and dear to my heart. We are talking about the 100 Club of San Antonio, and we have the relatively new executive director, Bart Vasquez, in the house or in the car here with me. It is great to see you, sir. Thanks for being on.
Thank you.
We were talking about in July. I don't want to get too far ahead. July will be here before you know it, and that's automatic at my house. It's the spaghetti dinner, which you were just telling me a minute ago that tickets are already on sale for that right now.
Yes, we already have tickets, so anybody that is interested in buying any tickets or being a sponsor spaghetti dinner, they can contact us and we will get them the tickets.
That's one of the, and you have one of the tickets. I mean, this is, he's not kidding. He's not kidding. They're literally on sale right now. That's usually, is the date set yet? It's in July, right?
Yes, we already have the dates. They're July 13th and 14th. That will be out there from 11 a.m. till 6 p.m.
Lock it in. So I'll load up on spaghetti and meatballs and cannolis. And will you be rolling? Because this will be your first time doing the dinner as the executive director.
Yes.
Are you obligated to roll meatballs as part of this?
I am. There's a minimum number of meatballs that I have to prepare. If not, then I get fired. So please come out.
You will be terminated. You have the recipe? Do you have the meatball recipe?
No, the Christopher Columbus Italian Society keeps that real tight
In a
wraps,
vault.
and they don't let anybody mess with it. They don't let anybody know it, and so they blindfold us while they're doing it.
Right.
And then they just,
sworn, and you sign a non-disclosure agreement and everything. Yeah, no, I get it. So that's in July. But we should mention the organization for people who don't know. I think a lot of people probably have heard 100 Club. I learned something when you and I met recently about the origins of the name itself, like the significance of the number 100. It did not start here in San Antonio, right?
No, it started in Illinois back in the 60s when an officer was killed in the line of duty up there in Illinois, and a businessman from the area wrote 100 of his friends and asked if they would submit $100 back to him to support this officer's family, and they did. All 100
Every
responded.
single one of them.
And so he started this organization, the nonprofit, called the 100 Club because of that significance, and it spread all over the country, and we're not tied to them like a national charter. We don't have to follow their rules or anything like that, but we can use the name 100 Club of San Antonio, and we're able to make our own rules and everything on how we want to help best our first responders here in Bexar County.
Yeah, so, and I've said this before publicly on the news and everything. I said it's one of these organizations you wish didn't have to exist, but man, when the god-awful things happen, thank goodness you guys are around it. And unfortunately, in your case, it's a year-round situation for you, right?
Yeah, and that was a comfort when I was on the police department. It was a comfort to know that was like an extra life insurance policy for me.
Indeed, literally.
That if something happened to me while I was at work, I knew that the 100 Club would be there to financially assist my family.
Right. And
when my kids became college age, they would help pay for their college education, that $50,000 scholarship.
So that's essentially what, and we'll get to that here in just a minute because that need is obvious, and you were telling me that need is going to go into many years from now. But essentially what happens is when the worst thing happens, when a law enforcement member is killed in the line of duty, and it can be sudden, it can be, we learned it through COVID, it can be over a period of time, whatever, you're probably one of the first phone calls. I mean, you have to make some terrible phone calls, right?
Yes, because the freedom the board allows us from the 100 Club is we don't need an application. We don't need to get approval, 7-step approval process. All we need is a notification from the department that there's been a first responder that's died in line of duty. And we can go and immediately provide that financial assistance because of donations from a very grateful community.
So within hours,
yes.
I mean, again, you're making outreach.
Yes, we are.
To these families.
Yes, we are, and that's the beauty of the 100 Club is that we can do that within that 24-hour period. So that way it takes a little bit off their mind because they're going to have to start making plans. They're going to start bringing family in.
Right.
There's going to be expenses that are coming up that they weren't planning for.
And
so we can come in and provide just a little bit of comfort to them to say, here's something to help you out and, hopefully take that little bit of off their mind.
You touched on it a minute ago. So you spent 20 plus years with San Antonio Police Department. First of all, thank you for that. You were a sergeant, is that right?
Yes, I retired as a sergeant from San Antonio Police
When
Department.
did you retire?
In July 1st last year.
So just recently.
Yeah.
Do you miss it?
I do. I miss it. I miss it a lot. But I think, God has a plan for us, and I didn't plan on leaving that early, but I did. And then I fell into this 100 Club spot, and I couldn't be happier. All I do all day is help first responders. All I do is try to fundraise so we can assist these first responders in the worst times, their families in the worst times.
And you also served in the military, so you were like an Army police officer as
Yes.
well?
Yeah, I did 7.5 years active duty in the Army. I was military police.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Then when I came to San Antonio, or I started on the San Antonio Police Department, I had a lieutenant that said, don't let those years go to waste, join the Air Force Reserves with me. And I ended up doing 23 years total, and retired from the Air Force.
So in your military life, did you go overseas or were you deployed?
I did. When I was in the Army, I was stationed at Fort Hood, so very,
Okay.
very busy
Yeah.
fort there, and got deployed, numerous times, and, did my part, but, not something that, everybody wants to talk about, but, did my part and, did what they asked me to, and
Yeah.
luckily made it back in, one piece, and was able to start a career here with the San Antonio Police Department.
How did the military life and just being in that world help you to have a successful run with the SAPD?
I think really just, teaching us that worth ethic, the values,
Yeah.
the commitment to an organization. In the military, you're committed to serving our country, and when you come back here, the police department, you're committed to serving the community and the people that live in there. And so you take that commitment seriously, and you come back, and that worth ethic that follows with us is something that's always stuck with me.
Did you come from a military or a law enforcement family? Did you always want to do what you did?
The Army, it was actually the way it happened was kind of a joke. Our senior year, my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, that we've been married 29 years, the recruiters were calling her house all the time. And me, like, hey, what guy's calling you? And she gives me the phone, and she says, well, here, you answer it. And it was an Army recruiter.
Oh, wow.
And then the rest is history. He convinced me to go, like everybody else, go play paintball and get some food. And then next thing you know, you're signing up and you're leaving. So,
And that's that.
yeah.
That's that. Very good. Okay. So when you left SAPD here last summer, you obviously wanted to stay busy, but were you looking for something like the 100 Club, or what exactly did you think you were going to do when you left?
I didn't know what I was going to do. I just knew I felt that it was a time for me to have a change in my life. The police department did some reorganization, and at the time I was on a daylight shift with Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. And they said, now we do this reorg, you're going to go to nights with Tuesday, Wednesday off, and you're going to work overnight shift. And I knew I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I did it my first 3-4 years on the department. Loved the shift, loved everybody I hung out with, the officers I worked around, but I couldn't sleep during the day, and so all night I was tired.
That's tough.
And so I knew I couldn't do that to myself, and so I decided I was going to retire. I had enough time, and I didn't know what I was going to do.
I know a little something about the overnight, lack of sleep, being sleep deprived. I know a little bit about that. So,
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so we talked about, this is Bart Vasquez, by the way, the executive director of the 100 Club of San Antonio, the spaghetti dinner in July. But before that, here, June 13th, like just, 3 weeks from now,
Yes.
You guys have a big golf tournament, just in an effort, again, ongoing effort to try to raise funds.
Yeah, so it's kind of an amazing story. When I started here, probably in February, I was contacted by a individual named Harry Brackman.
Okay.
And so Harry contacts me, and he says, hey, I'm, part owner of the Perry Pizzas here in town.
Yeah.
But I'm a 100 Club survivor kid. He says, my dad was killed in the line of duty for San Antonio Police
Really?
Department in 1974.
Wow.
He says he was 2 or 3 at the time. He remembers the 100 Club coming throughout the years, helping him and his sister out and his mom. And then when he started college, him and his sister, the 100 Club was there to provide that higher education scholarship. So he went to college and now is successful, in the restaurant business with Perry's Pizza
Right.
that they have here in town. And he wants to do something for the 50th anniversary of his father's death. And so he says, I'm a golfer. I like to play golf. Can we do a golf tournament? The 100 Club had never done a golf tournament before. So, but how do you tell him no?
You can't do
a
that.
survivor kid. So
Can't tell him no.
I said, okay, well, let's try it. Let's start planning it. Let's try it out. And so we, me, him, and another former SAPD, Rob Grajeda. We kind of sat down, put our heads together, and started playing this golf tournament. So we still have the need for players and sponsors. They can go to our website and sign up for the golf tournament. If they just want to be a player, great. If somebody wants to be a sponsor, that's great as well.
Website 100, so the number 100, 100clubsa.org is the website. The golf tournament is on June 13th at Canyon Springs, so there's still time. If you want to clear that on your calendar, get out there, swing the club, go hang out, support the cause. And if that's not enough, Perry's Pizza, and it's Perry's, it's P-A-R-R-Y. Perry's Pizza is doing something for you guys tonight.
Yes, they're doing donation night at all 3 locations. There's one at 281 in Stone Oak, one at 1604 in I-10, and one at Calabria in 1604. They're doing a donation night, so it doesn't cost you anything extra. After you eat your meal, if you say, I want to support the 100 Club, 20% of your bill goes to the 100 Club.
So you get your dinner plan set for tonight, Perry's Pizza, one of the 3 locations, and just mention 100 Club, and a portion of that will go to the organization. So we talked about the need, because you're talking about raising funds, and obviously, I guess essentially you're on a standby mode, because you never want law enforcement to get hurt or lose anybody in the line of duty. But when it inevitably happens, you have to be ready. But at the same time, you're thinking years ahead.
Yes. And so for us, our primary mission at the 100 Club is a first responder, police, fire, EMS in Bexar County.
Right.
And there's over 100 agencies in Bexar County that are first responder agencies. If any of them lose a first responder in the line of duty, we'll go in and provide immediate financial assistance to the family.
Right.
But then after that, we will provide a higher education scholarship to any dependent children they have when they become college age of $50,000. And so currently we have 12 kids that we're funding right now, but we have another 18 kids on the way in the next 10 years.
Meaning that they're in elementary school or middle school right now, but you've done the math, you've got it all charted out, that 10 years from now they're going to be in college, and you've already made that commitment that you obviously can't go back on.
Yes, and we wouldn't. I mean, we owe
no, of
that.
course not. No.
As a community, we owe that to those first responders who, sacrificed in the line of duty to keep us safe, So I think we owe that to them as a community to make sure that their kids have that opportunity to excel because the parent is no longer here.
I've had the opportunity to meet. I know that your Heroes Luncheon is coming up in a few weeks, and I'm honored to be able to MC that again. But I've met some of these family members, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, some of the widows or family members have come back to either served on the board or they maintain contact with you guys.
Yes, at least every other month we try to get together and offer a survivor family night. We did one during Fiesta where we brought all the survivor families back in, had them get together, because I can never, tell them what they're going through or understand what they're going through. But somebody else who's gone through the same thing can. So we try to bring them back together so they can talk and network and try to, help each other out through those difficult times.
A lot of it is, just being aware of mental health, and I know that's something that is spoken about a lot more now. Maybe when you first started out, it was taboo or it wasn't spoken. But May is National Mental Health Awareness Month. You obviously having been, in SAPD for so many years. I mean, how important is it right now, and how much of your job is just things related to mental health?
Yeah, I mean, it's very important. The things that these first responders have to see, they'll never be able to unsee that, and I can tell you from experience, being out there on the migrant trailer incident on the south side of San Antonio, I was out there, one of the first ones out there, one of the managing supervisors out there, and seeing what the officers had to go through and the firefighters that were there as well, what they're having to deal with, what they're having to go through. I mean, it was a horrific scene, and it doesn't stop. They finish that call, they clear it, and then another one comes in, and another one comes in, and another one comes in. And so really, here at the 100 Club, our wellness program that we provide for all first responders free of charge is we have a wellness app. And on the wellness app, it gives them a lot of different resources on how to be more resilient. And it has resources and videos, resources for counseling, resources for substance abuse treatment, all type of resources on that app. So it's completely free for every first responder in Bexar County that we provide from the 100 Club. It's not associated with any department, so we don't report back to their department and say, hey, so-and-so logged on to this app or anything like that.
Yeah, it's confidential.
We're completely independent. We don't have anything to do with those. And then counseling. we know that a barrier to seeking counseling is the cost. It's, mental health care is underfunded for everybody, not only first responders, but everybody. And so we know there's a barrier, and that cost, what we'll do from the 100 Club is we will pick up their copay or deductible if they cannot pay it, so that way we remove that barrier. And one prime example is substance abuse treatment, usually alcohol for first responders. The best place is Warriors Heart in Bandera, Texas.
Okay.
But out-of-pocket cost is about $4,000 to the first responder. So that's always a barrier. They're not going to pay that amount to go. So the 100 Club will pick it up so they can go to treatment, get back, and continue to work on the streets and keep us safe is what we want out there.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. So we have some people on here. If you have a comment or a question for Bart or just want to say hello, please, we'd love to hear from you. But I think about it, I get back to just my media days. When you watch the news and you see the clips of the murders or the scenes, the police scenes that have happened, obviously, the photographer, you're not going to see the most terrible parts of that scene. It's going to be covered up. It's going to be edited. There's certain rules you have to follow. Right. But you bring up a good point, because the officers that are there, you go to the migrant trailer situation, you are literally seeing the worst of everything.
Yes. And the officers and the firefighters and EMS.
All of them.
was rushing people back and forth to the hospital. And so, what they all have to see and deal with, we understand. I mean, that's their job, and they're there to do it. But that still does not erase the fact of what they have to deal with after that, as far as mentally. Yeah. So that's why you see that the need. A lot of people realize. Okay, so we have a question here actually from Pat. It says, Thank you, Pat. Is the 100 Club of San Antonio for the Bexar County area as well? So in other words, geographically, how much of an area do you cover? Yeah, all of Bexar County. We cover every first responder agency in Bexar County. It's named San Antonio because it's the biggest municipality that we have here. So we name it, San Antonio. But no, we cover every Bexar County agency. So anybody within that confines of Bexar County first responder agency, we're here to assist them.
Pat, thank you for that question. That's a great question. And again, we're just talking about the need, talking about funding scholarships for these kids years from now, the mental health aspect, the treatment, substance abuse treatment, all kinds of things like that. So you do have to wear a fundraising hat a lot.
Yes, we do. And one of the other programs that we have too that unfortunately we had to use a lot this year is the line of duty injury. So these officers that were shot in the line of duty, starting from July or so of last year all the way up to January. So each one of them, had side jobs, had extra jobs, or overtime that they worked.
Right.
When you're injured in line of duty, seriously injured, you cannot work those jobs.
A lot of them are security guards. That you see them directing traffic, especially with all the construction in San Antonio. That's what they're doing.
Yes. And then, even like the spouse will have to take off so they can take care of them. I mean,
right.
Some of these officers were shot numerous times, and so they need assistance at home to recover, and so the spouse will take off. Family will fly in. There's cost of all that. So with the generosity of the community, we're able to come in, provide some financial assistance. So now they don't have to worry about that. Just worry about getting better, recovering from these injuries, so you can get back to work is our main priority there.
I feel like this community really rallies around law enforcement and does have a love for that. So hopefully we can get some generous people out there, or if you know of a generous person that has the means to do that, you can certainly give. And you don't have to be a millionaire to support the 100 Club. I know you're going to show us here a very easy and less expensive way to do that.
Yeah, you see the bumper stickers going around town. I know a lot of people don't put them on their bumper sticker now because you don't want to mess up the car.
Yeah, but that's a good looking sticker right there.
They put them on the back windshield. And to let everybody know that you support your first responders.
Yeah.
You're here to help your first responders. So any donation, we accept. You can go to our website and donate. We really ask if you can do $10 a month. That really will help us with sustained funding at $10 a month.
Right.
You get a bumper sticker, and you can put it on there and let everybody know you support your first responders here in Bexar County.
That's a great point, because I think some people might say, you know what, I can't do $100 this month, or I can't do a chunk right now. But if you break it up, and it's like a supplement, like a what do you call it, sustaining giving type thing. I liken it to like your coffee or your what I said, lottery tickets, or whatever your little hobby or your vice is, your drug of choice, as I call it. give up a couple of Starbucks, and you put that on there. Pat is back with another question because Pat was asking, how does one go about donating aside from the fundraising or the bumper sticker?
Yeah, you can go to our website, 100club.
There it is, right there, by the way, on the top of the sticker. Yeah.
And you can go on there, and there's a donation page. You can go on there and donate to us.
Yeah.
As much as you want.
Yeah, and again, this is not just police. I mean, I know you were SAPD, but fire. I know when Scott Deem is one that comes to mind, and it's been a few years since he passed. But you still maintain communication with that family? Yes,
and Heroes Luncheon this year is where we award the scholarships of the kids starting in the fall. And this year it is a firefighter kid that we're going to award the scholarship to. So it is a firefighter kid, and there's still tickets available for the Heroes Luncheon. So if anybody wants to go, they're on our website to be able to sign up and attend the Heroes Luncheon and really see what the 100 Club is about. I can tell you the story all day.
Right.
But when you hear that family up there and you hear the kid up there telling the story, that really hits home and it makes people understand what it is the 100 Club's doing.
And you see a lot of local dignitaries in there. Again, I've been to this luncheon before, and it's there are not a lot of dry eyes in the house.
No, there's not. And you're right. It's one place where everybody comes together. It doesn't matter your political view, your political stance, the department you work for, if you're fire or police.
Right.
Everybody comes to this Heroes Luncheon to come together to support these families in this time.
How difficult is it sometimes to keep communication with those families and I just imagine, like, when you approach them, do a lot of them even know about you guys or that you exist, or are they surprised when you call?
Yeah, actually, a lot of people do not know about the 100 Club. And so we really want to get that message out there on what the 100 Club is and what it actually is and what we do. Mm-hmm. A lot of people think that it's a club, and so you got to be this exclusive club to belong to it. No, it was just named that after the original story we told. But anybody can join. Anybody can be part of the 100 Club. Anybody can support these first responders here. So we really need to get that message out there and what the 100 Club actually is and what it actually does.
And I think part of it, too, is just the awareness, because some people might say, well, wait a minute, we haven't lost a firefighter or a police officer in a while, and so they might think, well, there's not really much of a need. But like you said, if you're just joining us here, he's talking about funding scholarships for the kids of fallen officers that they might have passed years ago, or they're not going to be in college for several years, but you still made that commitment to them.
Yes, yeah, and you can imagine, that scholarship fund that we provide times 18 kids.
Yeah, it adds up.
It adds up.
So let's remind everybody again, if you're just joining us tonight, the Perry's Pizza fundraiser at any of the 3 locations in San Antonio. Just go have pizza at Perry's. Find the location closest to you, and when you're done, just say you want the bill to go, or you're part of the bill to go to 100 Club of San Antonio. Then June 13th is the golf tournament at Canyon Springs. If you play golf or you want to get a foursome together or whatever and help out in that way. The spaghetti dinner is coming up in July, and tickets are already on sale for that.
Yes, and then Heroes Luncheon June 6th.
Thank you, that's right. Right in the middle of all that.
You'll be emceeing for us.
Honored to do it. I'm honored to. It's been a few years since I was there, but I am looking forward to that event, and I always enjoy just kind of helping to spread the message of what you guys do and everything. So, what do you do for fun when you're not navigating all these things that we just talked about?
Well, I've actually been trying to play golf. A lot more difficult than you think. Which is why I don't play. Exactly. Than I thought. So it's a lot more difficult for me. And then I'm a grandfather. I have a 3-year-old granddaughter. And a 2-year-old grandson, but the granddaughter, every Friday we kind of have her and we take her for the weekend and
spoil her to death,
and then send her home Monday.
back to mom and dad. Exactly. I don't have grandkids at the moment, but I hear amazing things.
For me, it was more of when my kids were that age, I was in the military, so I was gone a lot. I was deployed a lot. So it's a tough life for military. People out there. You're here, they're born, you leave, you come back, they're walking. And a lot happened in that time. You're like, what happened? When I left, they were this small. When I come back, now they're walking.
Yeah.
And then you leave again, and you come back, and they're talking. You leave again, and they're, 10 years old. So it's a real tough life. But now that I'm able to be here, and I'm retired from the police department.
Right.
I make it my mission not to miss those times with my granddaughter.
Got it. Looking back, I don't know how much time you've had to reflect on your career in law enforcement with the Army and with SAPD, but did you have a specific moment, good or bad, whatever that might be, just that will always stick with you from your time in law enforcement?
Oh, I say I owe everything to the city and San Antonio Police Department. I grew up on a very hard side of town on the west side of San Antonio. I graduated from Memorial High School, so it was really rough, especially back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Really rough area, really rough school. So grew up, kind of poor, and was able to join the military. That kind of helped me out, and then joined the police department. And the police department and the city provided a good life for me and my family. And so I'll always be grateful for that. But the best times I had was, working in the gang unit there at the police department. And so we actually would go out there, and look for these gang members, look for what they're doing. And we have some real good times, and the camaraderie of everybody I worked with was just really good. But by far the best thing, I think, is what it provided for me and my family during that time, and providing a good life for us.
And so that was a conscious decision you made to join the military because you literally wanted a better situation than what you were in.
Yeah. I mean, I went to college for 1 year at Orlando Lake, but I knew college probably wasn't for me. I wasn't concentrating, wasn't paying attention. Probably needed to grow up, and the military provided that for me. So I left to the military and came back, and I've always been appreciative of that time. Some hard times, but been very appreciative of that time in the military.
You turned out all right.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. No, I think so. All right. Well, listen, it's been great. It's just like I said, you wish it didn't have to exist, but you're so grateful that it's part of the community. 100clubsa.org. So it's the number 100clubsa.org. So many ways to, as we get ready for the summer months, to support. Tonight, the golf tournament, the Heroes Luncheon, the spaghetti dinner, of course, is always a big deal in July. And so I'll definitely be seeing you between now and then a few times.
And thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah.
And I really just wanted to spread this message. All my time on the police department, did a lot of different jobs, a lot of different things. But the first time that I was here and an officer that was injured in a shooting, that you're able to come in and provide financial assistance, that officer was extremely grateful. And he kept thanking me. And I told him, I said, look, it's not me. It's the community that's giving to me to give to you.
Yeah.
And so it's really the community that when they come up to you and you say thank you for your service, or they buy your lunch, or they do these different things that you see out there, that's the type of community we have.
Indeed.
That they're providing this for you.
And it can be something as little as $10 a month, and you get the sticker, but even more than that, that you're helping out. When the awful things happen, that Bart's going to be there with that, whatever that help is, and the impact it's going to make on that family is probably hard to put into words. But thank you for what you do.
No, thank you, Ernie, for this opportunity to be on here and get our message out about the 100 Club.
One more time, the number 100, 100clubsa.org. Bart Vasquez is the relatively new executive director here, still working on his first year and getting ready on his first spaghetti dinner here in July. So it's going to be a great weekend, and I'm happy to help. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
There you have it, another episode of Pickup Lines presented by Gomez Law Firm, Integrity Roofing and Siding, and the Sabinal Group. We'll be back very soon with another episode right here. Have a fantastic weekend, Memorial Day weekend as well, and don't forget to support the 100 Club of San Antonio. Bye for now.
Thank you.